The desert sun scorched the land as Cole Tanner rode his black horse into the quiet town of Dust Creek. He had come looking for a lost shipment of gold, promised by a wealthy merchant. Dust swirled around him, and the silence of the town felt heavy. Near the edge of town, a young woman stood alone. Her clothes were worn, her hands dusty, but her eyes held determination. Cole stopped his horse a few feet away. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. The woman flinched but nodded, holding a small tin bucket. "I'm fine," she said softly. Cole handed her a canteen of water. "You look like you could use this," he said. For a brief moment, their eyes met, and a silent understanding passed between them. Lydia May had lost her father the year before and had been struggling to survive. She worked hard each day, carrying water and tending to a small garden that barely yielded enough food. Cole's arrival was unexpected, yet comforting. He stayed in town for a few days, helping with chores, repairing fences, and quietly teaching her skills she hadn't learned before. Each evening, they would sit by the fire, talking in silence and glances. The unspoken words grew heavier with emotion. Cole found himself thinking of Lydia constantly. Her courage, her kindness, and her stubborn spirit drew him in more each day. The harsh desert seemed less lonely with her nearby, and he realized that the gold he had been chasing felt meaningless compared to the warmth she brought into his life. The next morning, the desert air was cool and quiet. Cole and Lydia went about small chores around her cabin. Cole lifted heavy wooden planks to repair a fence, while Lydia handed him nails and tools. Their movements were simple, ordinary, but a warmth lingered in the way they looked at each other. After finishing the fence, Lydia went to tend her small garden. Cole brought her extra tools and offered help. "You've got quite a green thumb," he said with a smile. She laughed softly, brushing dirt from her hands. The day passed quietly, filled with small, shared moments that carried more meaning than words. By noon, they walked to the dry well to fetch water. Sitting nearby, they spoke of their dreams, her hopes for a small farm, his desire for a life more than gold. Each word, each glance, drew them closer. Cole realized he didn't just enjoy her company. He admired her spirit, her strength, and the gentleness hidden behind hardship. In the late afternoon, they rode together across a winding desert path. The wind carried her hair, and they exchanged shy, fleeting glances. No words were needed, each moment spoke louder than conversation. As evening fell, they sat by a small campfire, the firelight dancing across their faces. Cole told stories of his travels, and Lydia shared memories of her father. Laughter and emotion mingled freely. For the first time, Cole felt his heart settle in one place. Before night fully descended, Cole paused and watched Lydia from a short distance. She smiled softly, unaware of his gaze. In that quiet moment, he knew he had found something he had never sought in the desert: love. That afternoon, a sandstorm swept across the desert. Cole insisted Lydia ride with him to gather supplies from a nearby town. At first, she hesitated, but his calm voice and reassuring gaze convinced her. Together, they braved the wind and swirling dust, holding firmly to the reins and each other. Every gust of wind felt dangerous, yet their shared struggle brought them closer in ways words could never express. When they finally reached the small town, exhausted and covered in dust, Cole found a quiet shelter for them. Inside, the warmth of the room contrasted sharply with the harsh desert outside. They shared a simple meal, their hands brushing accidentally, hearts beating a little faster. Shy smiles and lingering glances passed between them. After the storm, they watched the desert landscape slowly emerge from behind the clouds. The orange glow of sunset painted the sky, and Cole realized that each moment with Lydia had become more precious than gold or treasure. Sitting by a small lantern, they spoke quietly, sharing thoughts, dreams, and fears. Trust grew naturally, and affection deepened with each word and gesture. By nightfall, Cole helped Lydia clean the dust from her hair and clothes. Their eyes met, and for a long moment, no words were needed. He had come seeking adventure and wealth, but in the quiet desert, he had found love, a bond formed stronger than any treasure he could ever find. Over the next weeks, Cole and Lydia grew inseparable. Together, They repaired her small cabin, each nail and plank bringing them closer. The desert sun shone warmly as they worked, and even in simple chores, laughter and subtle glances made each moment special. Lydia tended her garden, planting vegetables and flowers with care, while Cole handed her seeds and offered advice. Their shared dreams of a better life wove silently between them. Each day, the bond between them strengthened, built on trust, kindness, and unspoken feelings. In the evenings, they rode their horses across desert dunes, the wind catching Lydia's hair as they exchanged shy smiles. At night, they would sit on the porch or lie under the stars, sharing stories and pointing at constellations. Their hearts found comfort in each other's presence, the desert no longer feeling harsh or lonely. Cole realized he had fallen completely in love. Lydia's spirit, courage, and gentle kindness had captivated him entirely, and Lydia, too, felt her heart belonged to him, knowing that together they could face whatever the desert or life threw at them. Each small moment became a promise of tomorrow, and the love they shared grew quietly but powerfully with every passing day. The evening air was calm, the desert stretched. Farns silenced, the last light of the sun touched the sand with a soft red glow. Cole sat beside the fire, his hat lying on the ground, his eyes watching the flames. Lydia sat close, her hands folded. In her lap, her face calm, but her heart full. They had come far through heat and storms, through fear and silence. Now only the quiet remained. Cole looked at her, his voice low. "When I first saw you, I thought I was lost," he said, "but maybe I was just waiting for you." She smiled a little, her eyes wet and gentle. "And now, what will you do, cowboy?" she asked. He stood slowly, brushed the dust from his coat, and reached out his hand. "Keep riding," he said, but this time not alone. She took his hand and stood beside him. The firelight flickered. Behind them, the sound of the wind moved softly across the open land. They walked toward their horses side by side, their shadows long in the last light. The world behind them was empty, but ahead there was peace, not a perfect ending, just a quiet truth that love can grow, even in the hardest places. If this story touched your heart, remember to subscribe for more tales like this.